Welcome to our channel. We are sincerely trying to choose interesting stories, so we would really like to see your subscription.
I grew up in a broken home with my older brother Connor. Our father left us when we were just little kids. Connor was only 7 and I was 5. The emotional toll of our dad leaving hit our mom hard. She cried a lot and battled depression. Caring for me fell on Connor's shoulders from an early age. He always supported me, offering wise advice and helping me with my schoolwork. I was a weak and sickly child, often missing school, but my brother encouraged me, teaching me to fight and stand up for myself. Connor was practically a father figure for me and my rock throughout life. When I turned 18, I fell in love with a classmate named Mary. She was so beautiful with long dark hair and mischievous brown eyes. We secretly dated behind our parents' backs, and one day we crossed all boundaries, leading to Mary getting pregnant. It was a total shock for both of us. Immediately, I went to my brother Connor for advice. At that time, he was living separately with his wife, Stephanie, and their twin sons. I visited him in the evening when he had just gotten home from work. We sat together in the kitchen for a long time, drinking coffee and eating cookies, discussing the difficult situation. I shared my fears with Connor, and he advised me to take responsibility and marry Mary.
Listen, little brother, I know this is really hard and scary for both of you right now, but this baby is your joint responsibility. You need to be a man and not abandon Mary like our father did. I'm sure you can make it work and build a strong family together.
Connor persuaded me. I listened to my brother Connor and nodded, although the idea of getting married and becoming a dad at 18 made me uneasy. But Connor always gave sound advice, so I decided to follow his recommendation. The next day I went to Mary and proposed, giving her a simple ring. She was, of course, shocked by my rushed decision, but deep down, she was glad I didn't run away from the problem and stood up to protect her and the baby. We got married a month later in a local resort town, with only our closest relatives present. The ceremony was simple but touching, and as newlyweds, we looked to the future with a mix of excitement and anxiety. 5 years later, we were raising a mischievous toddler named Cole, who had become the meaning of our lives. I had a job as a delivery driver at a large construction materials warehouse, and Mary worked as a seamstress at a small atelier. Despite living modestly, we were happy. Every morning, we enjoyed cheesy toast and coffee together for breakfast, and in the evenings, we cuddled up on the couch to watch TV. Little Cole would run up to us and climb onto our laps. Back when we were 18, terrified by the unexpected pregnancy, now we couldn't imagine life without our son. He grew up naughty and curious, bringing joy to our lives. However, around this time, it seemed like Connor's life was falling apart. He divorced his wife, Stephanie, and she moved to another city with the kids to be closer to her parents. Connor took the separation hard and turned to drinking. One day, he confessed to me that the reason for the divorce was that he had cheated on Stephanie. We met at a local bar after work over beers. Connor lowered his head and haltingly told me, his younger brother, about his affair. I was shocked. I saw Connor as the epitome of a man and couldn't believe he had betrayed his wife.
Forgive me, Johnny, I've let you down. I was weak.
Connor lamented.
Stephanie left me after finding a box of condoms in my car. I couldn't deny it. I feel so bad that I destroyed our family.
I silently listened to my brother's confession, shaking my head as anger and disappointment boiled up inside me. How could you do this, Connor? I looked up to you, but you betrayed Stephanie, your sons, all our family, I said, expressing everything I felt, and stormed out, slamming the door. I left Connor sitting alone, staring into his beer glass, feeling ashamed in front of his brother. Back home, I recounted the story to Mary. To my surprise, she didn't get upset, but started defending Connor.
I think it's not so black and white here. Maybe Stephanie had some faults as a wife, too. Connor probably put up with a lot before deciding to cheat.
Mary reasoned. How do you know that? What does Stephanie have to do with this? Connor should have left her if he was unhappy, not cheat. I argued, upset.
Well, that's what I think. Connor is usually such a good, reliable man. There must have been a reason.
Mary justified herself. Her strange reaction made me suspicious. How does my wife know so many details about Connor and Stephanie's relationship? Did Connor confide in Mary? But why? Sometime later, my suspicions were confirmed when a friend mentioned seeing Mary at the mall with Connor. They were laughing and going into stores together. I immediately called my wife and demanded an explanation. Mary, were you at the mall with Connor? What were you two doing together? I asked suspiciously.
Oh, yeah. I was helping him pick out a suit for a job interview. Connor asked me to advise him on how to dress since I'm a seamstress.
Mary replied calmly, "And you couldn't tell me about this? Why are you meeting in secret?" I kept asking questions. Mary brushed it off jokingly. I was irritated by her casual tone, but I decided to stay silent for now. Although I really didn't like that my wife and brother were spending time together and hiding it from me, a seed of suspicion took root in my soul. A month later, I unexpectedly decided to pick up Cole from kindergarten. Usually, Mary did it, but I got off work early and went to get my son. The boy was so excited to see me that he immediately dragged me into his favorite pizzeria. We sat down at a table by the window, ordered huge slices of pizza, and laughed loudly while chatting with each other. Suddenly, a middle-aged woman in an elegant beach coat approached our table. I recognized her as Stephanie, Connor's ex-wife.
Johnny, Cole, what a nice surprise.
Stephanie smiled.
And here I was wondering who these merry fellows were by the window.
We warmly greeted each other, and I asked how she was doing and how her twin sons were. But suddenly, I noticed the rain on my finger, and Stephanie asked in surprise.
Wait, are you married again, Johnny?
I was taken aback by the unexpected question. Again? I haven't gotten divorced. As far as I know, I still only have one wife, Mary. Stephanie looked around awkwardly, glancing at Cole.
Sorry, Johnny, I must have been mistaken. Forget I asked.
She mumbled and was about to leave. However, I insisted she explain what was going on. Stephanie sighed and took a seat at our table, pulling her chair closer. Speaking in hushed tones to ensure Cole wouldn't overhear, she disclosed the truth to me. It wasn't just the affair itself that led her to leave Connor. It was a long-term secret relationship with a familiar woman, and that woman happened to be Mary, my wife. She recounted how she had suspected Connor's infidelity upon discovering a box of condoms in his car. Confronting her husband, he eventually confessed to seeing someone on the side, Mary. Stephanie, shocked, demanded proof, and Connor showed her joint photographs that left no doubt about the affair.
I gave him an ultimatum that if he wanted to interact with the kids after the divorce, he had to confess everything to you and end things with her. Unfortunately, Connor didn't keep his word. I'm sorry it took me so long to speak up, Johnny. I hoped your brother would tell you himself.
Stephanie said guiltily. As I listened, my world crumbled. It was hard to believe that Mary, my wife and the mother of my child, could betray me in such a profound way. How long did this go on? I managed to choke out.
Over 4 years now.
Stephanie answered quietly. She placed her hand on my shoulder, expressing sympathy and support. Then she gave me her business card with her phone number in case I wanted to talk. We parted warmly but sadly. I dropped Cole off at his mom's and then drove home alone, attempting to collect my thoughts and decide what to do. Anger, pain, and disappointment boiled inside me. I felt betrayed by the people closest to me. Ultimately, I decided to talk to Connor first. My brother was home answering the door in a stretched-out t-shirt and boxers, seemingly unwinding in front of the TV after a day of work. The relaxed expression on his face instantly disappeared when I wordlessly delivered a punch to his jaw. Connor swayed and slumped to the floor. "That's for betraying me," I said coldly, walking away and slamming the door. When I returned home, I discovered Mary in tears. She was already aware, thanks to Connor, that their affair had been exposed. I sternly informed my wife that I would file for divorce and seek full custody of Cole. Mary pleaded for forgiveness, but it was too late. Following the painful divorce, Mary moved in with Connor. However, after some time, she had to find her own apartment, as Connor soon left her for another woman. I raised our son alone, and Cole became my sole source of comfort. The betrayal by loved ones left a permanent scar on my heart.